Okay, you fan twerps, get your jergens! Get your jergens! I got a fan for you! I'll give you a few seconds to get your jergens! See, now you went too fast and you stubbed your toe. Twerp. So what kind of fan do we get? Ooh, we got nice fans. Actually, I got two. Comes in the box. What kind of fan? Fan, it's a fan. Oh my god, it's a fan. It's a fan. Fan. It's a fan. It's a ceiling fan. Yes, it's a new ceiling fan. Why do I need more ceiling fans? Well, not that I need more ceiling fans, even though I would like to have more ceiling fans. Wouldn't it be cool to have like 2, 3 in the same room? It would never work though. So, this is a Hampton Bay. This is a 36-inch. 36-inch, yes, 36 inches. And it's a ceiling fan. It's the Minute 3. Minuet. However you want to pronounce that. This is a quiet motor. Produces more airflow with less noise. White finish. Opal glass shade. 6 reversible blades. White and multicolor. So if you got kitties, this is going to kitty's room, you can have the multicolor. If you're an adult, you can have, you're plain Jane white. Uses one 9-watt LED bulb. Wow. And it's included. Wow. Maximum airflow is 2,674 cubic feet per minute. CFM, so that's on high. And of course, this is a 3-stage fan, so you can mount it close to the ceiling, so a ceiling hugger. You can have it on a down rod or a down rod on a sloped ceiling. So that's what this is intended for, a sloped ceiling. And this will be going, and its brother will be going in this room and in my bedroom. Because the current fans that I have running now, which they run very well, they have run for many years, 24/7, 365, with the occasional flip of the reversing switch on seasonal periods. So you reverse it on your winter months and you downrod it on your summer months, so you get the wind chill effect when you have the AC running. And that's all the racket you hear in the background now is the window rattler. So you'll have to put up with the noise. But speaking of noise, both of these fans that are running both have quite a large amount of bearing noise. It's a constant rumble because they're wore out. They've been turning and turning and turning for years. So the bearings in them are shot. So I got these two to replace them. So this is, for me in my local area, this is not a common fan. The 42s and the 52s and the really fancy ones are all that is available on the big box stores. And this came from Big Orange, the Big Orange box store. I had to special order it and wait for it to come in. Took about almost 2 weeks from the time that I ordered it till the time I got the email that told me to pick it up. So that's that. So let's open this fan up and see what's inside a brand new ceiling fan box. And as you can see, it did come from the Big Orange store. It's got all the good stuff on top to go to orange. And of course, it's got my name on it, so they can identify who's it for. And it's box 1 of 2, so it does have a brother. And it's so easy to order stuff and have it shipped to the store, because all you need is the email. You print out your email, and then you show up at the store at the customer service desk, and show them the email paper, and then they do all their little computer things, and they just, let's see your ID, please, and then they hand over your products, and then you walk out the door. So you get the destruction manual, in case you don't know how to put a ceiling fan together. A Hampton Bay lifetime limited warranty on the motor. Not that I would actually entertain the warranty on these things. Unless the thing is completely dead on arrival, then a ceiling fan is pretty much always going to start and run. And the only thing they're going to warranty is if the windings go bad in the motor itself. They're not going to warranty the bearings and the capacitor and all other stuff. So I don't bother with certain warranties and stuff. Some people are real anal over it. They gotta have that warranty because they don't want to spend another dime, if they have to fix it or spend money to repair it or anything like that. And some people are like that. If it breaks down during the warranty period or even a month after the warranty, they're after them. Yeah, it's only a month out of warranty. Why don't you just honor it and be, good to the customer? Yada, yada, yada. They carry on like a little bitch. So, this one is a ceiling fan light kit. It's actually quite hard to find a ceiling fan without a light kit. Most of them do. So, this is a single banger. It's only a single bulb, which is fine. It's perfectly adequate for what I need it for. And the wires for it are quick attach. So it's just plug and play, and then take the screws out in the fan motor, and then put the screws back in, and then put your favorite light, or LED light, or incandescent light, or heat lamp, or whatever the hell else you want to put in this thing. So they make these things so cheesy now. Here's what it says on the caution. It says, to reduce the risk of fire, relamp type LED 9 watt max. Remember when 40 or 60 watts was max? Now they dumped it down to 9 watt max LED. That is pathetic, people. What's the lamp holder itself? Okay, the lamp holder itself says 60 watts. So that's kind of a conflict of cautions. So you got a caution for a 9 watt, and then you got the lamp holder itself for 60 watt max. So that's a little bit of a conflict. And then you get a spare screw in case you lose a screw or it falls out of the lampshade holder, and you suck it up with the vacuum, or your robotic vacuum sucks it up, and then you don't have it, and you wonder why the thing is rattling in the holder. So that's one part. And then you get the 6 blades, because this is a 6-blade job. So you get 6 of these blade holders that goes to the blade. So you got 3 bolts or 3 screws for each blade, and then you got your 2 screws that go to the fan motor. Fan motor. So 6 of them. And then you get your little hardware kit. So you get some wire nuts. These nuts! And then you get your pull chains. Your basic, everyday, standard, boring pull chains. And then you get all your screws for all your paddles. And that's what a ceiling fan is also called, if you didn't know. It's also called a paddle fan. And your little bag of candy. Don't eat that. And I've warned you not to do it. And then you get the paddles. So we'll check out the paddles so I can get that box off my lap. And like I said, this is a 6-bladed fan, and it's reversible blades, so you can have the colored side or the white side. So if you're an adult that still acts like a kid, you can have the colored side down. So one paddle is orange, and then you get the white. Green, yellow, red, blue, purple, indigo, navy blue, however it looks on your monitor. To me, it looks like a dark royal blue. And then your my next hair color. Purpley pink, whatever that is. So that's the petals. And then you get your ceiling kit, your ceiling mount. However you're going to mount it to your ceiling. So you get a trim ring to hide the screws of the ceiling, and then you get your electric box mount. So you unscrew this, and then put this on your electrical outlet or box in your ceiling, and then you put the cover back on, and then depending if you're flush mounting it, you have a set of hardware for that, or if you're using a down rod, then you have your down rod, and that's what I'll be using for my installation is the down rod. And it says, warning, if you plan to install close to ceiling installation, remove clip, pin, and 2 set screws from motor housing yoke. So you gotta, of course you have to read your instruction manual on how to flush mount or down rod mount your ceiling fan. And of course you got your ground wire to the box, to the fan, and then your down rod, which I'll be using in this installation, is the down rod. It also too has a ground that you need to tie together. So you tie all your grounds together and all your neutrals together. And typically most ceiling fans, if it's a lighted one, will have a separate wire for the light, a separate wire for the motor, and your neutral wire, which will be white. So on this particular fan, all your greens are grounds, your whites are neutrals, your black is your hot fan, and your colored one, I think this one is blue, is your light kit hot. So all your wires will be wired to whatever. So for me, it'll all be tied into one. So the light kit and the fan wire will be tied together for the black wire of the electrical box, and the white wire will go to the white wire, and the greens will go to all the grounds. So that's easy enough for me to handle. And I'm not afraid of electricity, so I will be doing all that myself. And then in the second layer of the box, because there's 2 layers of the box, so this is another part for mounting, whether it's down rod or flush mount or whatever. You get that. You get your basic old school you know, pre-2022 schoolhouse type lampshade. I'm not old enough to go to the single room schoolhouse and they had these lights in the ceiling. No, I actually had fluorescent tubes. And then you get the mother fan motor. There's the fan motor. And here's your wires, all tied together in a little zip tie or rubber band. So black, white, and blue. So like I said, white goes to white, black goes to black, and blue will go to black, or black for your switched outlet. And same thing with your ceiling fan, because some people are really fancy and they have a wall plate, one switch for the fan and one switch for the light. But I don't have that kind, so I have to use chains for the fan, really, only the speeds. Because my fan has a smart bulb in it, so my assistant turns the light on every day at the same time and turns the light off every day at the same time. So I don't have to do it because I'm lazy. So here's your fan. Well, actually, my fan. And like it says, it's got your different set screws here for your different options. And your pin, your grenade pin for your down rod. Of course, you'll have to fish the wires up through the down rod to mount it. So that's easy enough to figure out. Now on the bottom of this thing is the your light kit and your pull chain. So this is your pull chain for your motor, and then here's your light kit. So them two will be married together with the quick attach points, which is right here. So all you got to do is just push it in, and you're all set for your light kit. And then you got all your wires for your fan operation here. You got your reversing switch. So when this is hanging, if you didn't know how to operate a fan correctly, in the spring, summer, and fall time, you have your switch down. And then when heating season is, you know, you're basically May through December, or all year long for some people, you put your switch up. And that takes all the warm air and brings it down over the walls and windows so you don't get the draft. It takes all the heat from the ceiling, it brings it down to the floor. Which I'm very well aware in this house, how much heat is on the ceiling and very little on the floor. So in case you didn't know, all ceiling fans have a capacitor in them. And it's what controls the speeds of the fan. And look, we got a spare wire nut in here. So this double stick tape wasn't even doing anything to hold it to the housing of the motor. So your capacitor is what gives you your speeds, and is what runs the fan. Because the winding itself doesn't run the fan, it's the capacitor that runs the fan. So it's a 3-speed fan. So you got a 4.5 microfarad, a 6 microfarad, and a 5 microfarad capacitors in this thing to run your speeds. And of course, like anything today, you want to make sure that everything is snug and tight. As you clearly heard me say, how the capacitor in here wasn't even double stick taped to the fan housing motor. And the ice cream truck is here. Then you got all your other wires here for the. Of course, you want to make sure your your fan speed switch is all snug. Same thing with your light kit. You want to make sure your something is nice and tight. because they may vibrate loose and stuff like that. And then all you got to do is take off all the plastic crap and stuff like that to plug in your light kit. Take out the screws of the light and then put them in, and then put the screws back in, and then your light kit is all mounted. Of course, you'd be doing all this while this is hanging from the ceiling. So I'll have another video on hanging this and taking the old one down and putting up the new one. But if you're wondering what I'm going to do with the old fans, I'm not throwing them away. So what am I going to do with them? Well, one is to deep clean them and maybe even repaint the paddles, because they are grungy and grinding and they may not come clean, so I might paint them. But my goal is to take the old fan motors apart, because I do believe they do split apart, and you can take them apart. And my goal is to take the bearings out, because the bearings, they, like I mentioned earlier, they're grumbling now, they're growling, they're old shot bearings, and they need to be replaced. Normally, normal people will just throw the whole fan out and just buy a new one, like I just did. But it may take me some time to actually, get to, taking the fan motor apart and measuring the old bearings and putting in the new bearings. So I have to split the motors, get the old bearings out, and then measure the new bearings. So I need to measure the outside circumference of the bearing. I need to measure the shaft circumference of the inner race of the bearing, and then the height of the bearing. And then I'm not going to use standard everyday bearings. I'm going to use a specific motor bearing, a hybrid, and I got two options I'm looking at depending on the size of the bearing. My first option, of course, to be use your standard steel ball bearing bearings and replace them and call it a day. But I want to be unique and say that my ceiling fans have unique bearings in them that may last a lifetime, my lifetime, or the lifetime of the fan windings. And the first option would be steel ceramic hybrid. So the outer race and the inner race are steel, and the ball bearings are ceramic. Or option 2, or 3 to some, will be a full ceramic bearing, where the outside, the inner, and the balls are all 100% ceramic. And then I'll be using my bearing packer. You've seen in my previous video a long time ago. Look up my Vornado 610 DC, how I serviced bearings on that, and I actually pack good bearing grease into a bearing instead of just being a schmuck and just putting some motor bearing oil on it. I'll put a couple of drops of 3-in-1 motor oil, or the red can. I'll put some drops of red can on the bearings and they'll be good for the rest of my life. No. Bearings are meant to have in them, not oil. A temporary solution, what I did with these ones that are above my head to keep them quiet for a little while longer, it didn't last long, was to oil the bearings. And that sort of softened up the old dried grease, kept them quiet for a couple of weeks until they started growling and grinding again. And it's really noticeable with the noise factor when the fan stops. And the only time the fan stops is during a power failure. And then they come to a complete stop, they cool off a little bit, and then when they restart, they make a racket. And on top of that, when they're not making a racket, you can always hear the bearings just growling in there. So that's that for this video. I'll have a video of taking these ones down and putting up new ones. So subscribe and stay tuned for them videos. So that's it for this video. We'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.